The room was already laughing before he even touched the piano. A quiet boy stood at the center of the stage, his hands slightly shaking, the spotlight feeling too bright, too heavy. Someone in the back whispered loudly enough for everyone to hear, "Is this a joke?" More laughter followed. The boy heard it, every word, every chuckle. But he didn't move, because he had already lived through worse moments than this. And in just a few minutes, nobody in that room would ever forget his name. His name was Oliver Bennett, 17 years old, thin, quiet, invisible. Oliver lived in a small apartment on the edge of a gray industrial town in northern England, the kind of place where trains pass more often than opportunities. His mother worked double shifts at a hospital cafeteria, while his father had left years ago. Money was always tight. Their apartment had peeling wallpaper, a leaking kitchen sink, and a heater that only worked when it felt like it. But Oliver had one treasure, an old piano. It sat in the corner of their living room like a forgotten memory. The keys were yellowed, some of them stuck when pressed. His mother had found it years ago on the street beside a dumpster. "Do you think it still works?" she had asked. Oliver pressed a key, and a soft, broken note filled the room. His eyes lit up, and from that moment on, the piano became his world. Every evening after school, Oliver sat at that piano. While other teenagers played football outside, while neighbors blasted music through thin apartment walls, Oliver practiced. Sometimes for 3 hours, sometimes for 5. The notes weren't perfect, but the feeling was real. The piano was the only place where Oliver didn't feel small. At school, though, things were different. Oliver was the quiet kid, the one who sat in the back of the classroom, the one people forgot to include in group projects. Students like Lucas Carter loved making jokes about him. "Hey, piano boy," Lucas would say loudly in the hallway. "Play us something, like a sad funeral song." His friends would laugh. Oliver never responded. He simply walked past them with his backpack hanging from one shoulder. One afternoon, a poster appeared on the school notice board. Annual Talent Showcase. Students were invited to perform music, dance, comedy, anything. The winner would receive a small scholarship and the chance to perform at the City Arts Festival. The hallway buzzed with excitement. Lucas and his band immediately signed up. They were already popular. Everyone expected them to win. Oliver walked past the poster quietly. He stopped, read it once, then twice. His heart started beating faster. For a moment, he imagined himself on that stage, playing, just playing. No classrooms, no bullies, just music. But then the voices inside his head started whispering, "They will laugh at you. You're not good enough. People like you don't belong on stage." Oliver walked away. That evening, he sat at the piano in the dim living room. Rain tapped softly against the window. His fingers rested on the keys, but he didn't play. His mother noticed. "You're quiet tonight," she said gently. Oliver hesitated, then told her about the talent show. "How much is the entry fee?" she asked. £10, Oliver said quietly. His mother opened her purse. Inside were only a few coins and a folded receipt. She stared at it for a moment, then smiled. "We'll figure it out." 2 days later, Oliver walked into school holding the small registration form. His hands felt cold. Students filled the hallway with laughter, conversations, noise everywhere. He approached the sign-up desk slowly. The teacher organizing the event looked surprised. "Oliver, you want to perform?" He nodded. "What will you do?" "Piano." The teacher wrote his name down. Just like that, it was official. News traveled quickly through school. By lunchtime, everyone knew. Oliver Bennett, the quiet kid, the invisible one, was performing in the talent show. Lucas Carter heard about it while sitting with his friends. He nearly choked on his drink. "Wait, Oliver?" He laughed. "The ghost from the library?" His friends burst into laughter. "What's he gonna do?" someone asked. "Play nursery rhymes?" Lucas smirked. Man, I actually want to see that. The night of the talent show arrived. The school auditorium was packed. Parents filled the seats. Students crowded every row. Bright lights lit up the stage. Backstage, Oliver stood alone near the curtain. His heart pounded so loudly he could hear it in his ears. Performers before him danced, sang, and played guitar. The audience clapped loudly for each act. Oliver looked down at his hands. They were trembling. For a moment, he considered leaving, just walking out the back door. No one would stop him. No one would even notice. Then he remembered something. The first note he had played on that broken piano years ago. The feeling it gave him, the way music made the world disappear. Slowly, he took a deep breath. Finally, the announcer stepped forward. And our next performer, the room quieted slightly. Please welcome Oliver Bennett. A few confused whispers spread through the crowd. Oliver walked onto the stage. The bright lights blinded him for a second. He could barely see the audience, but he could hear them murmuring, whispering. Then someone laughed. Lucas's voice cut through the noise. Oh, this is gonna be good. More laughter followed. Oliver sat down at the piano bench. The instrument was much newer than the one at home. The keys shined under the stage lights. But the laughter in the room grew louder. Someone clapped sarcastically. Come on, piano boy. Oliver closed his eyes. For a moment, the entire room disappeared. There was only silence, only the piano, only the music waiting inside him. And when his fingers finally touched the keys, everything was about to change. Notes poured out, filling the room with a sound that silenced every laugh. Every eye widened, every whisper faded. Nobody in that room would ever forget Oliver Bennett again. Oliver's fingers hovered above the piano keys, shaking slightly. He could still hear the laughter, the sneers, the doubt. But now, he didn't hear anything else. No classroom whispers. No taunts from Lucas Carter. No fear. Just music. The first note rang out, a single, trembling sound, soft and fragile. The audience tensed. Some thought it was a mistake, a wrong note. But Oliver didn't stop. His hands moved with surprising confidence, guided by years of secret practice. What started as a quiet melody slowly grew into something more, a song filled with emotion. Every note told a story. The room, once filled with laughter, began to shift. Parents leaned forward in their seats. Teachers raised their eyebrows. Students stopped whispering. Something unusual was happening. Oliver's fingers danced across the keys. He played a piece he had composed himself, a melody inspired by every lonely evening, every whispered insult, every moment he had felt invisible. The notes climbed and fell like waves crashing over a stormy sea. The music was raw, honest, alive. For a moment, even Lucas Carter froze in the back. He looked around. He didn't recognize this. This wasn't the quiet kid from the library. This was brilliance. The audience slowly leaned in. No one clapped. No one moved. It was as if the piano had swallowed the room. Oliver didn't notice the eyes on him. He didn't hear the whispers anymore. He only felt the music. Every chord carried his story. Every rhythm carried his pain. Every melody carried his hope. He played faster now, letting the energy flow through him. The laughter that had haunted him disappeared completely. Even the harsh fluorescent lights seemed to dim. Then came the bridge, a soft, almost whispering section that pulled at the heartstrings. Oliver's hands barely touched the keys, yet the sound was breathtaking. It was as if the piano was speaking for him. A mother in the front row wiped a tear from her eye. A teacher gasped quietly. A student leaned forward, entranced. For the first time, Oliver felt seen, truly seen. This was no longer just a talent show. This was his moment, his story, his voice. And everyone in that room could feel it. Then came the finale, a storm of rapid, intricate notes, soaring higher and higher, echoing through the auditorium. Oliver's fingers flew, every movement precise, every chord perfect, every beat infused with emotion. The room erupted, but not with laughter. It was stunned silence at first. Then, applause. Slow at first, hesitant. Then louder, stronger, more powerful than Oliver had ever imagined. The laughter, the doubt, the sneers vanished completely. People were on their feet. Shouts of amazement filled the auditorium. Wow! Unbelievable! How is he only 17? Lucas Carter stood frozen. He couldn't speak. He couldn't move. Oliver's eyes opened. He looked at the audience, not for approval, not for applause, but to see the effect of his music. The connection, the recognition, the understanding that he belonged there. When the final note faded, the room held its breath. The echoes lingered, as if the piano itself had left its mark. Then the applause erupted like a storm. Oliver stood slowly, almost in disbelief. He didn't bow immediately. He let the sound wash over him. Every clap, every cheer, every shout was like a wave of validation. A wave that reminded him that all the quiet nights, all the hard work, all the moments of feeling small were worth it. Lucas Carter approached after the show, his face pale. I didn't know you could," he stammered. Oliver didn't reply. He simply smiled, a small, confident smile, because he didn't need to prove anything to Lucas anymore. He had already proven it to himself. After the performance, people approached Oliver. Teachers praised him. Students asked for lessons. Parents called him inspiring. His mother hugged him tightly. "You did it, Oliver," she whispered. "You've always had it in you." For the first time in his life, Oliver felt proud. Not just because of applause or recognition, but because he had faced his fear, and he had conquered it. That night, Oliver returned home. The apartment was quiet. The rain tapped against the window like it always did. He sat at his old piano, the one with yellow keys. His fingers pressed gently, creating soft, beautiful notes. And for the first time, he didn't feel invisible. He didn't feel small. He felt limitless, because he had learned something powerful that night. It doesn't matter how others see you. What matters is believing in yourself and letting your talent, your passion, your story shine. The story of Oliver Bennett spread through the school. He became a symbol, a reminder, a living proof that the quietest voices sometimes have the most powerful message. Students started taking their own passion seriously. Teachers encouraged more students to perform. Even Lucas Carter, once a bully, learned to respect the hidden strength in others. Oliver never forgot the laughter, the doubt, or the fear. But he also never forgot the applause, the tears, and the feeling of standing tall. Years later, Oliver would play on stages far larger than the school auditorium, concert halls, music festivals, international competitions. People would ask him how he got started. He would smile and say simply, "One night, in a room full of doubt, I chose to play anyway." And those who heard him play would always remember that moment, because that night, nobody in that room forgot Oliver Bennett. Life will throw laughter, doubt, and fear in your way. People will underestimate you. They may even try to humiliate you, but the power isn't in them. The power is in you. Your passion, your hidden talents, your courage are stronger than any voice that says you can't. Sometimes, all it takes is one moment, one choice, one act of bravery to change everything. And when you do, the world won't just notice. It will never forget.